Well, welcome to Jeffrey's son, one of our healthcare professionals here at Avant Healthcare Professionals. And we're kicking off this American Dream series with his story. And I can't wait for all of you to hear more about Jeffrey. Jeffrey, if you don't mind saying hi to the audience.
Hi, good morning, and have a great day to all of you. My name is Jefferson. I'm one of the Avant Healthcare Nurse that has coming here in the United States to have the dream come true.
I'm so excited that we get to hear more about your story because there's so many healthcare professionals at different parts of the journey to reaching their American dream through the Avant program. And so, Jeffrey, why don't you share a little bit about why you wanted to come to the U.S.?
Of course, my number one dream that I want to work here in the United States. Of course, there's a lot of opportunity here in the United States, and as a nurse, I can develop and gain more knowledge working here in the United States, especially from the biggest and largest facility that Avant have deployed every nurses that on their program.
Oh, that's great. And so, what made you apply to Avant in the first place?
Okay, number one is Avant has a very big reputation. At the same time, they have like the transition program for every healthcare professional. Like they will start helping you when it comes to your examination. Your papers will be keep follow up by their staff. At the same time, they will be there from the first time that you apply to them up to the end of your journey or contract with Avant Healthcare. And of course, the second one is they have their cultural program that they will help us healthcare professionals and how to transition here in the United States. And at the same time, they have what they call a clinical culture. And at the same time, they will help you on how to get used to it and how to work here in the United States. And they have their team that they will help you on how to provide everything that you need just to get started here in the United States and be comfortable in working whichever part of the states they will deploy you.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jeffrey. We really appreciate that you selected Avant to be your partner through this process. So, I obviously wasn't there at the beginning of your journey. So I would love to hear more about, and I'm sure other people would like to know, what's your American dream?
Of course, my American dream here is to work as a nurse here in the United States, share my experience, share my knowledge and talent to every different multi-diversity patient here in the United States. And of course, number one is if you are here in the United States, you can far advance your nursing career here in the United States. And the very biggest part is you can work whichever specialty you want here in the United States. At the same time, you can level up your nursing career here, not only at bedside. At the same time, you can teach most of your patients and what are the healthcare needs. And of course, I can share my culture with them also.
That's so great. I think it's so important to be able to bring your culture as well and not lose that identity. And that's the beauty about it. I'm Filipino too.
Yeah.
I understand that we like to bring just that family environment that we have in the Philippines here to the U.S., just as we're receiving from many different cultures here in the U.S. So you talked a lot about career advancement. So talk a little bit about what opportunities you've had in career advancement here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S., during my journey with Avant, I have joined some of the research and evidence-based practice here in the United States, which is like a couple of years ago. I have presented one of my evidence-based practice research to the association here in the United States. So it's more on about the international nurses, how they cope up and how they get used to work with their facilities that have been deployed here in the United States.
That's amazing, Jeffrey. How did that make you feel to be able to do that?
Usually I ask and interview different nurses, not only Filipino nurses, but nurses coming from Jamaica, nurses coming from Middle East, and nurses that coming from the United States also, and ask them what are their like their approach in working with this multi-diverse healthcare professional within their hospital. So it's nice to talk with them because like as I thought about a while ago, the culture, like culture within a culture, they will learn the different culture and also and how the practice differs from the way we do it back home and the way we are doing it right now here in the United States.
That's great. I can see the excitement in your face having
Yeah.
put that together. What did it feel like when you presented?
Um, because I am very proud that I presented that research and I can share like the new nurses, student nurses that are keep coming on that research forum, and they keep on asking me like, hey, Jeffrey, you're coming from a different country and now you're working here in the United States. Does it help a lot? Did you have any difficulties working with different culture? As I just talk to them, it's in the first place, you have like the transition going to with this kind of research, talking to the multi-diverse healthcare professional and ask them like, oh, how do you do it when it comes to certain procedure here in the United States? And like, as I said a while ago, like some of the equipments that you have back home, and now you will see like more sophisticated equipments here in the United States. Of course, some of them will tell you like, wow, this is awesome, right? So
Yes.
yeah,
It sounds like it's a big help to some of these new nurses. So that's incredible that you're now you're able to give back
yeah.
just based on your experience. And you were talking about the differences. Can you share a little bit about what the biggest differences are in your job here compared to where you were in the Philippines?
Usually here in the United States, the very difference here, like you have your the patient ratio here is like if you have working in a certain facility that one nurse only take care like 1 to 4 patients, and like back home, some of the nurses will take like 1:20, 1:30, but the biggest part of the patient care back home is sometimes you will take care like 1:60 patients.
Oh, yeah.
So so you will notice like the safety of the patients also at the same time, and how will you give your excellent care for the patient. Of course, if you are taking care like 1:5 patient or 1:6 patient as a nurse here, of course your patient care will be more focused, and then the safety of the patient that you are considering is the best and excellent safety that we can have here in the United States. Although back home, you used to work like 1:20, 1:30, 1:60 patients. So that's a lot. And the
That is
safety
a
of the patient,
lot.
of course, you get be worried. Oh, am I going to lose my license? Am I going to secure? Okay, so
Sure.
yeah.
Wow, that's difficult. So what helped you make the transition from having such high ratios to being successful here in the US with the right safety ratios?
Of course, like the right safety, the right ratio. Back home, you have all the seminars also. At the same time, once you get here in the United States, the number one you will learn about that one is when you go into Avant. They have the cultural and clinical transition program that they will teach you from the start on how to gain the safety of the patient, how you deal with this patient. Like I know there are certain patients that that's much more bigger than me on how can I handle them. Of course, Avant Healthcare Professional taught us like their team. They have their physical therapist team. They have the nurses over there that they will teach us on that the body mechanics on how to get safety, not on your patient only, but as a healthcare worker also. Of course, safety also for us as a health worker is very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are so important to us. And I'm so glad to hear that our comprehensive clinical transitions program
Yeah.
was really helpful to you
Yes.
to be successful as a nurse here in the US and to bridge the gap that you were experiencing from your country. So, looking back, what are some things that you wish you knew back then that you know now?
Going back there, like how I wish I have ever known Avant for the first time when I graduated my nursing career because I've been hooked up with Avant for I think that was 2013, and I graduated like 2005, and I haven't known Avant for that time. If I only knew Avant on that time, maybe I'll be like 6 years ahead of time. I'm here in the United States, but because of some immigration and the retrogression that we have before, and good thing I been with Avant during the past 2013, and then of course I've waited for about like 9.5 years just getting here in the United States. But
Wow.
while I'm browsing my computer, and then I just hit the click like Avant Healthcare, and I started my journey over there. And Avant keep on following up my credentials, my exams, my English exams, and here I am. After
Yeah.
2.5 years, Avant helped me going all through the transition, and I'm working here in the United States. Yeah, having my dream come true, sharing my experience, sharing my knowledge to my co-nurses. So that is my biggest important part to me, that I've known Avant for that time.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Jeffrey. And I'm so glad to hear that you knew that through every stage of the process, we wouldn't leave you. And here we are today. I mean,
Yes,
you've made a
are
successful
today.
transition from your place of assignment. Now you're officially on staff. It's
Yes.
at the hospital. It's amazing. You have such an incredible journey. And I think you are an inspiration to so many healthcare professionals out there that are aspiring to come to the U.S. and want to reach their dream, and they're looking for the right agency to be part of, because there's so much that's involved in the process.
Yeah, there's a lot in the process. Just have their time. Like even though they were waiting, Avant is still there. Even though there's retrogression, Avant will always keep look at an eye with their documents up to the end. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad. Yeah, it's amazing that 9.5 years, but you're here.
I'm
And
here.
we stayed with you through that. I love that. What a great story. And, we have so many different healthcare professionals that are either at the application stage, or they're at the immigration stage, or they're actually on their place of assignment right now. What would you say to them, and how would you encourage them through this process?
Right now, if you are not starting with your journey right now, just find Avant Healthcare through the social media, and then hit that one, apply to Avant, and then they will just gonna give you a call, and your journey will start right there and there.
Great. Now, what about somebody that's in the immigration process? I mean, you had to wait a while, and the beauty of what's been happening is that we've had a lot of approvals. And so we're really proud of that. Since last year, we've had over 1,500 visa approvals. So
Great.
what would you share with somebody that's been waiting? Because you waited a long time
Yeah.
because of retrogression, not because of Avant. If it were up to us, you would have been here a
Oh,
lot sooner.
it's true.
But what would you share with somebody that's waiting through this immigration process?
Usually, while you're waiting on your immigration process, the key on that one is to gather all your important data, because usually your personal profile over there in the immigration, they will ask some of your important documents. So have it prepared, because usually they will just gonna ask you your pertinent data in the immigration, and have them all in your hand, because one document that you are lacking for, sometimes you will wait not only a week, sometimes 1 to 2 months. So you will have to wait for that one, and then just that documents or one documents that you are missing, so you will have to wait for that month. And then Avant will just keep on email you just to get that one document that they have to submit it to the immigration. So just don't waste your time. Like even though you're waiting a lot of time in the immigration, Avant will always keep following up on them. Okay.
Great. Well, Jeffrey, I've heard, and we've experienced that culture shock happens. I remember when I moved to the U.S., and boy, was it a change for me coming from the Philippines, moving to the U.S. It was a culture shock for me. And I didn't have a company like Avant to help me at that time. And I really appreciate all of the support programs that we provide. what would you say to somebody that is experiencing culture shock? What encouragement would you give them? What would you recommend?
Okay, right. Since I've been on that culture shock for about a matter of 1 to 2 weeks when I first started here in the United States, number one is you can call Avant if you don't have anybody that you can know within your community when you are being deployed. And then Avant will reach out for the nurses that have been deployed on your state or on your area, and then they can keep in touch with them, and then that helps me a lot because Avant gives me the list of the nurses and physical therapists here in my area where they deployed me, and then I just keep on texting them, emailing them, and then so that I can meet them. Because when I started here in the United States, although the weather, what should I say, we have 4 seasons here in the States where I am right now.
Yeah.
Compared to back home, we only have like the rainy season and the wet and dry season, should I say summer back home in the Philippines. But here we have like the winter, summer, spring, and fall. So the worst ever part when I started is, I think that was winter time. So they always ask me like, hey Jeffrey, do you know how to drive your car within the snow and everything? Like, maybe not. Maybe can I have a like another ride? But as a healthcare professional, you should know how to deal with this one because usually keep in touch, having linkage with some healthcare professional like Avant and their nurses that have been deployed here. So you can get through all along that culture shock. And of course, just be open-minded with your coworker because they can teach you on how to deal with it. Even though you don't have any Filipino, you don't have any Jamaican nurses, or having nurses coming from Middle East within that area. So they will help you, especially your coworkers that you've been working with them on the start.
I think that's so important to have that instant community.
Yeah.
And that's what does help when you're transitioning from one country to another. And I think I love hearing that you had a community here that Avant provided for you to let you know that there are nurses where you're located that you can reach out to, and that there's somebody also here at Avant to support you. I know, having transitioned myself without a company like Avant, I would have appreciated that. So I'm so proud that this is something that we offer. I love our cultural transitions program.
Yeah.
It's an amazing program to really help our international nurses and therapists transition. So what are you most thankful for now that you're in the US?
I'm thankful for like I can work and have my leisure time also. And I always tell my co-nurses like, you work smart, you work hard, and don't forget your leisure time at the same time. Just be yourself. Don't get so secluded in one area. Just if you have a lot of working hours, and at the end of that working hours, just feel free with yourself. You can go to other states, you can long drive, you can fly by plane, or just enjoy your sceneries while you are here in the United States. And at the same time, of course, very important thing under Avant is like when you get here as a healthcare professional, they will help you to get your green card, and up to the end of your journey, Avant will still be there and keep providing all your documents. So that's the beauty under Avant also, that when you will be deployed to the states that you have been, so you will have your green card and you are free to do it. You can go some of their places, and then Avant will help you within that goal.
That's great. Well, Jeffrey, can you tell us about some of the leisure activities that you've done? What are some of the things that you've done?
I've been going from the other states like Chicago for the past few months, and then enjoying some of the Great Lakes here in the Midwest.
Awesome.
And one thing more is communicating. There are like Filipino community people here. And sometimes when it comes to weekend, there are some basketball events that we join. We play some of the Filipino community here in our places in the Midwest. Yeah.
That's fun. I love it. Filipinos, we love basketball.
Yeah.
So that's great. I'm so glad that you're able to be part of the league and
Yeah.
that you're able to travel. I would love to see Chicago again one day.
Oh,
So that's awesome that you're able
yeah.
to go do
The
that.
Windy City. Yeah.
Yeah. My husband's favorite team is the Chicago Bears when it comes to football. So
Football.
I imagine one day we will definitely go visit there together.
Yeah.
So that's great. And my last question, and it's been so great interviewing you, is what are you most looking forward to next? Now that you've arrived in the US, now that you've completed your assignment, what is next for Jeffrey's son?
My next goal is I'm trying to get along back to school again. Hopefully, if not within this year, by next year, I'm trying to apply to advance my career as a nurse. So I'm trying to get a postgraduate certificate as a like family nurse practitioner or
That's
something.
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see that one by maybe next year. So I'm checking some of the school here in the Midwest right now.
Oh, Jeffrey, that's such great news. I'm so happy that you have these opportunities, and I'll be looking out for that certification and we'll be following your journey. So we wish you the very best as you continue advancing your career and continuing to be an inspiration to healthcare professionals, not only from all over the world, but here in the US. And I just want to thank you, Jeffrey. We are so proud of you. Thank you for
Thank you
working so hard and being a great example of what the American dream can be. And I'm so glad that we could be part of it.
Yeah, thank you very much to Ma'am Stephanie and to the Avant team. Thank you very much. And as I've said, most of the healthcare worker right now, they've been eyeing with Avant right now. So, yeah.
That's so great. Well, thank you again. And Jeffrey and I are going to say goodbye to you. Hopefully you have been inspired by his story. I have been, just to be able to hear more about Jeffrey and what he's doing now and what he's accomplished. It's so amazing. And that is an inspiration to all of us that we too can reach our American dreams. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Sims with Avant Healthcare Professionals. We look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.